Picture this: a quiet day in Oyarifa, a quiet suburb on the outskirts of Accra, Ghana. It's the kind of neighborhood where nothing much happens. But on this particular Tuesday morning, on March 18, 2025, something big is about to go down. A team from Ghana's Narcotics Control Commission, NACOC for short, has been watching a particular house in this quiet suburb. And they've been watching for a long time. Months, actually. Maybe even years. The man inside? His name is Uchechukwu Chima. He's 56 years old. He's Nigerian. And according to NACOC, he's not just any ordinary resident of Oyarifa. No. This man has been on their radar for quite a while. He's suspected of being the mastermind, the brain as they call it, behind multiple drug operations that have plagued Ghana for years. Today is the day they are finally going to bring him down. So the NACOC team moves in. They've got their intelligence. They've got their warrants. They've got everything they need. And when they search Uchechukwu Chima's hideout, yes, that's what they're calling it, a hideout, what they find is absolutely staggering. 192 kilograms of cocaine. Let me say that again. 192 kilograms. That's not a small amount, my friend. That's not someone with a personal stash. That's industrial scale drug trafficking. And if that wasn't enough, they also found 0.42 kilograms of heroin. This was huge. This was one of the biggest drug busts in Ghana's recent history. And Uchechukwu Chima, he was right at the center of it all. My name is Narcotics, and I welcome you back to book number 7. Why haven't you subscribed yet? So you are probably wondering, who is this guy? Where did he come from? How did he end up running a multi-million-dollar cocaine operation in Ghana? These are all great questions. And honestly, we don't have all the answers. What we do know now is this: Uchechukwu Chima is a 56-year-old Nigerian national. That's a fact. We also know that he had been living in Ghana for some time, specifically Oyarifa, that quiet Accra suburb we mentioned earlier. But here's where it gets interesting. Court documents reveal something fascinating and also terrifying. Chima wasn't just some random drug dealer who happened to get caught. No. He is described as the head of a narcotic trafficking enterprise which operates in Ghana and exported narcotic drugs to Europe and other parts of Africa. We are talking the head. This man was allegedly running an entire network, an enterprise, a business if you will, except the product was cocaine and heroin, and the customers were scattered across continents. Now, NACOC had been tracking him since 2023. That's 2 full years of surveillance, intelligence gathering, watching his movements, connecting the dots. They knew who he was. They knew what he was doing. But they needed to build a solid case. They needed concrete evidence. And they needed to catch him red-handed. And then we learned something even more disturbing. Chima has been identified as the source of supply for 2 other Nigerians who were arrested, prosecuted, and convicted in 2024 for drug trafficking. So while those 2 were sitting in Ghanaian prisons, the man who supplied them, that's the real boss, was still out there, free, continuing his operations. Of course, until March 18th, 2025. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting. You see, Uchechukwu Chima wasn't operating out of just one location. He was smarter than that. He had 2 properties in Oyarifa, and they were about 1 kilometer apart. Now, why would someone need two properties so close to each other? Well, according to prosecution's facts presented by Senior State Attorney Watkins Adama, Chima was seen on several locations accessing and using both properties. NACOC had been watching him move between these two places, and they had a pretty good idea why. One property was his home, that's his private residence, where he actually lived and did his normal activities. And the other property, that was the hideout. That's where the magic happened, or rather, where the crime happened. When NACOC officers arrested Chima on March 18, 2025, they started at his home. They searched the place thoroughly, turning everything upside down, looking for drugs. And you know what they found? Nothing. Not a single gram of cocaine. Not even a speck of heroin. Clean as a whistle. But, and this is important, they did find something. They found huge sums of money in different currencies. Cash. Here we are talking lots and lots of cash. US dollars, pounds, euros, cedis. In fact, who knows what else? Money that, according to investigators, is believed to be proceeds of his narcotic drug activities. So now the NACOC team has a decision to make. They've got Chima, yes. They've got suspicious amounts of money also, yes. But they don't have the drugs. Not yet. Now, this is where Chima made a crucial mistake. Or maybe he thought he had no choice. Either way, when NACOC officers asked him about the other property, the one that's a kilometer away, he cooperated. In fact, he provided a key. Just like that. Handed it right over. And then he gave the officers access to conduct a search of that second property. Now, we don't know exactly what went through Chima's mind at that moment. Maybe he thought the game was up and there was no point resisting. Maybe he was hoping to cut some kind of deal. Maybe he simply didn't realize how much evidence they would find. We will probably never know for sure. But when NACOC officers entered that second property and started searching, oh man, it was like hitting the jackpot. They found materials and implements used to package and repackage narcotic drugs. So this wasn't just a storage facility. This was a processing center, a whole workshop, a place where drugs were being prepared for distribution. And then came the big discovery: 192 slabs of compressed substances, plus 57 pellets, and a polybag containing even more compressed materials. The officers conducted field tests right there on the spot. You know, those quick chemical tests that can tell you whether something is cocaine or heroin or just talcum powder. Yeah, those ones. And guess what? The test came back positive. Cocaine and heroin. Lots of it. But NACOC wanted to be absolutely certain. And so they sent samples to the Ghana Standards Authority, that's the GSA, for official testing. And on a certain date, the GSA report came back with confirmation. The substances they sent to them tested positive for 3 things: cocaine, heroin, and morphine. All narcotic drugs, all highly illegal. 192 slabs, 57 pellets, 1 polybag, all filled with narcotics. Now here's the part that really got NACOC excited, and honestly, kind of angry too. Because as they dug deeper into Chima's operation, they realized something significant. This wasn't his first rodeo. No, not even close. Remember those 2 Nigerians who were arrested and convicted in 2024? Yeah, it turns out that Chima was their supplier, the main supplier. He was the one providing them with the drugs they tried to traffic. They got caught and they were sent to prison. But Chima, he just kept operating. Business as usual. And that's not all. NACOC officials said that Chima is noted to be the brain behind some seizures or arrests made by NACOC in the past. This man's fingerprints, that's speaking figuratively, were all over Ghana's drug trafficking scene. How many times had NACOC intercepted drug shipments, thinking they had made a good bust, only to realize they had only caught the couriers while the real boss was still out there? How many small fish had they caught while the big fish swam free? NACOC had been trying to get to Chima for years. They knew he was involved. They suspected he was important. But they couldn't prove it. They couldn't catch him. He was always one step ahead, always operating in the shadows, always using other people to do his dirty work. Until now. So when NACOC announced Chima's arrest on March 19, 2025, just one day after the operation, it made headlines across Ghana and Nigeria, and honestly, across West Africa. Francis Opoku Amwa, that's NACOC's acting director of Public Affairs and International Relations, released a statement that pulled no punches. He called Chima a long-time drug target. He confirmed that the suspect has been a target for NACOC for some time now. The statement went on to say something really important. NACOC, by this seizure and arrest, has taken this substantial quantity of drugs from the street, saving millions of lives of people who would have otherwise perished from abusing these hard drugs. Now, you might think that's just PR talk, right? Government officials always say stuff like that. But here's the thing you need to pay attention to. It's actually true. 192 kilograms of cocaine is enough to destroy thousands of lives. We are talking thousands of doses. So that's thousands of potential addictions and thousands of families that could be torn apart. And NACOC had just taken all of that off the streets in one single operation. So, as we speak, Chima is in custody. He's been arrested. The drugs, they've all been seized. The money, it's also been confiscated. Case closed, right? Well, not quite. Because now comes the legal process. And this is where things get interesting. Chima was taken to the Accra High Court. And initially, as is normal in these cases, he was remanded in custody while prosecutors prepared their case. They needed time to analyze all the evidence, get the GSA report, and build their charges properly. By April 14, 2025, almost a month after his arrest, Chima appeared in court again. And the prosecution, led by Mr. Adama, asked for more time. Why? Because they had just received the official report from the Ghana Standards Authority. Yes, that's the one that was confirming that those substances were indeed cocaine, heroin, and morphine. I have received a copy of the report from the Ghana Standards Authority, the prosecutor told the judge. In light of that, I pray for the opportunity to file a new charge sheet for the plea of the accused to be taken. The judge agreed to give them more time, but also issued an order. The court wanted this case moving forward. No endless delays, no dragging it out forever. The prosecutors needed to expedite their investigation and get this case to trial. Finally, on April 22, 2025, the prosecution was ready. They filed amended charges against Uchechukwu Chima. There were 4 counts in total. And when Chima stood before the judge and was asked how he pleaded, his answer was clear: not guilty. Not guilty on all 4 counts. Now, we don't know exactly what those 4 charges were because the reports don't specify. But we can try and make some educated guesses based on what was found. Probably something like possession of narcotic drugs, trafficking in narcotic drugs, operating a drug trafficking enterprise, and maybe something related to the money laundering aspect. That's all the cash in different currencies. These are 4 serious charges, and each one carrying potentially long prison sentences under Ghana's strict narcotic laws. And Chima's defense strategy? Deny everything, plead not guilty, and make the prosecution prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. So what exactly does the prosecution have? Well, they have quite a lot actually. First, there's the physical evidence. That's the 192 slabs, the 57 pellets, and the polybag of compressed substances, all tested and confirmed by the GSA, that's the Ghana Standards Authority, to be cocaine, heroin, and morphine. That's pretty solid. Second, there's the location evidence. The drugs were found in a property that Chima had a key to, a property that he gave the officers access to, and so that is going to be hard to explain. Third, there is the paraphernalia. Materials and implements used to package and repackage drugs were found at the same location. So this wasn't just someone storing drugs for someone else. This was an active operation. Fourth, there's the money. We are talking huge sums of cash in multiple currencies that were found at his private residence. Now, where did that money come from? The prosecution argues it's the proceeds of drug trafficking. Fifth, there's the historical evidence, that's NACOC intelligence linking Chima to previous drug seizures and arrests. The 2 Nigerians who were convicted in 2024 allegedly supplied by him. The pattern of activity spanning for years. And finally, there's the surveillance. NACOC had been watching Chima since 2023. They have records of him accessing both properties. They have evidence of his movements and activities. That's a pretty strong case. But remember, in a court of law, the prosecution has to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Chima's lawyers will surely argue that none of this proves he was actually trafficking drugs. Maybe he was just renting out the property. Maybe someone else put the drugs there. Maybe the money came from legitimate business activities. It's going to be an interesting trial. So, where are we now? Well, as of recording this video, Uchechukwu Chima is in custody, awaiting trial. And as mentioned earlier, he's pleaded not guilty to all charges. The prosecution is now building their case, and the defense is also preparing their arguments. This trial would probably and obviously take some months to put together, maybe even longer, because these kind of cases are complex. There is a lot of evidence to present. Expert witnesses also need to testify about the drug tests. NACOC officers need to explain their surveillance and the investigation, and the defense will have to cross-examine everyone looking for holes in the prosecution's case. But here's what we know for sure. If convicted, Chima faces serious prison time. Because this is the thing you need to understand. Ghana's narcotic laws are strict, and the penalties attached are severe. We are talking decades behind bars, possibly. And even if he somehow beats the charges, Ghana will likely deport him back to Nigeria. There, he's not going to be walking free anytime soon. Interesting. Anyway, if you love this channel, click on that subscribe button, click on the bell, and click on all. Now watch these 2 videos next. I'll see you over there.